When you least expect it, that's when it happens. When you least expect it, before you can plan, prepare, or take action, when you least expect it, in the blink of an eye, with no time for reaction, when you least expect it, at that exact moment, when you're sidetracked with distraction, that's when it happens. That's when it happens. Life strikes with no regard for your ethnic background, meaning it doesn't care if you're white, beige, gold, black, purple, red, or brown. Life could care less if you're a king that wears a crown, a queen that wears a diamond-studded gown, the highest-paid NFL running back that scores all the touchdowns, a housekeeper at Motel 6 who just finished his or her rounds, a boxer who gets paid to knock people out in the early rounds, the CEO of a corporation whose cutting-edge ideas are profound, a plastic surgeon whose work is world-renowned, a bus driver rolling the highways for Greyhound, a teacher who's trying to keep the kiddos under control on the playground. Life does not discriminate. And so many of us have found that to be true. So that means it's not a matter of if, but when. Because see, when life strikes and its direct target is you, your family, or your friends, will you be strong enough to withstand a vicious body blow? Will you be strong enough to stand tall and avoid that woe is me syndrome that so many fall into? See, it's not about what you've been through that shows your true grit and character. It's not about what you've been through that shows your true grit and character. It's how you came through what you've been through that shows your true grit and character. See, life will attack you like a predator. Life will slam you like a wrestler. Life will harass you like a heckler. Life will knock hard at your door like a creditor. But the character of true competitors like you shows up and shows out on the darkest days that come with the worst weather. The character of true champions like you shows because you are able to keep it together mentally when most would break like a levee. At times your heart will be heavy, but your internal dam will never ever be broken. That means you have an internal will that is equipped to handle any and everything that life throws at it. So you find a clear signal through the static and avoid the erratic behavior that most display in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. But you defy the odds, and you become the odds-on favorite to win because you have a mental tattoo embedded in your heart that reminds you that which does not kill you only makes you stronger. That which does not kill you only fuels your hunger. That which does not kill you leads you to the ledge of success and you become a jumper. That which does not kill you gets you rolling like river and rumbling like thunder. So when life strikes, will you crumble like a cookie? Will you run and hide like you're playing hooky? Or will you stand up to that bully and show the world that in this life you're no rookie? And you tell life, I will fight back when you push me. And no matter what happens in the physical form, I will always, always mentally recover fully. And that's the mindset you must have to overcome and win when life strikes.
There most certainly are times when we feel like that, when you say, I don't have any idea whatsoever of what I'm going to do to pull this out. Been in situations like that, where I had deadlines I had to meet. I didn't meet those deadlines, and I lost a car, lost a home, lights were cut off, telephone was cut off. All of those things are going to happen to you at different points in life. Now, the question is, what does it really mean? It really doesn't mean anything. It's not important at all. It's just a temporary inconvenience, because all of those things can be corrected. And it's a part of the process that we all go through. Now, the challenge is, in the midst of all of these things, is one, to stay focused on your goal, and two, to keep your expectations of making it happen and keeping your energy positive and relentlessly looking for ways in order to pull it out. And I guarantee you that there will be some intervention. What causes it? I don't know. That will seem like it's supernatural. Give you an example. I remember once When I lost my job, when I was fired out of broadcasting, September 18th, I'll never forget, 1978. I was behind in my house notes, and my house was up for foreclosure. I did everything I could. I had borrowed as much money as I could borrow. I had talked to family members and friends. I did everything I could, and I couldn't get enough money, being unemployed for several months, applying for job after job after job, and couldn't get a job. I couldn't get enough money to save the house, but I never felt, and this is very important, the feeling that I had, never felt that I was going to lose that house. I wanted that house. And so what I did was very uncanny. I released it. I did the best that I could. And at that time, with the limited money that I did have, I decided to take a trip with my family to Miami to go down and spend time in the sun with my children. We caught a Greyhound bus from Columbus, Ohio, and we went to Florida. By the time I arrived on the day that the bank was to foreclose at 12 noon on the house, I got a call from one of my former assistants who went by the house and called me and said, "Les, it's an emergency. Call Columbus right away." I did, and Carolyn Sloan said, "Les, you won't believe this. You have a check from the Internal Revenue Service on your income tax." And it was enough to pay the house notes, and I had money over. I never received a refund prior to that time or since that time, and I did not lose the house. So there are things that we don't know or understand, but we do know that if we do certain things, that things begin to happen that's in our favor, that shows that the universe is on our side. Everything that we're seeking, I believe that if we begin to align our thoughts with action and be relentless, don't try 2 or 3 things or 15 or 20 things, but 100 things, 500 things if necessary, 10,000 things as Edison did if necessary, until we find a way out. Many of us, we eliminate many possibilities for ourselves because we really don't do all we can do. I think A.L. Williams was right when he said, all we can do is all we can do, and all we can do is enough. And I think, honestly speaking, even judging from myself, and I think that my commitment is stronger than most people. But if I had to literally measure my commitment in terms of what I put forth in my dream, I would say that I might have given about 18 to 20% of what I'm really capable of. As high in consciousness as I believe that I am, comparatively speaking, where I used to be, I'm still nowhere near reaching 50% of the commitment that I can make to accelerate the growth and the development of my dream and the manifestation of the things that I know within myself that I'm capable of producing. So our biggest challenge is beginning to look at within ourselves to remove those energy blocks, because if we're not producing the income that we want, let us not look outside of ourselves, but look within ourselves to find out, how am I blocking me? Am I really giving it all that I have? Am I really being as creative as I can be? Am I really unstoppable? Am I as relentless as I can be? Am I exhausting every means possible? Am I turning up every rock to find what it is that I'm looking for? That what resides between our ears, when we're thinking about how do I come up with $500, $1,200, or $2,000, is the same gray matter that resides between the ears of a Ross Perot or Donald Trump when his bankers say, you've got 30. How is it that one man or woman can do it and do 1,000,000 times more than these other people, and the other ones don't? It has to be consciousness. It has to be, and when we talk about consciousness, we're talking about a collection of our thoughts, our feelings, and our emotions and experiences used as an active force to produce in our lives that which we want to produce. Because everything that exists in life the microphones that we're speaking in, the shoes that we have on our feet, the chairs that we're sitting in, the clothes that we're wearing, the homes that we live in, the cars that we drive, all of that came out of our consciousness. That all came out of the invisible into the visible. And man was the vehicle, the outlet to produce that. Wherever we have stopped in our dream, we stopped at a place called willingness. Anybody that's fallen short of their goals, they ran into something that they were not willing to handle. Because in order to reach your dream, in order to make things happen, there must be a willingness to do what is required. If the need is to raise $2,000, and let's say you have a set of tapes for $40, are you willing to make 200 calls a day? Are you willing to stand on a corner and talk to people and say, listen, I've got a set of tapes here that can change your life? Are you willing to make the commitment that you will not go to sleep until you sell at least 10 tapes a day? Are you willing to say, if it takes me 12 hours walking and talking to people all day long until I find 10 people that will say yes, if I have to talk to 200 people or 300 people, that in order to provide food for my family, to provide shelter, to not to have creditors hounding me, am I willing to talk to 300 people a day? Am I willing to stand in an airport and sell tapes? Am I willing to go out and make calls again and again and again? Am I willing to knock on doors? Am I willing to do that? The only thing that counts in life are results, not reasons of why you didn't do it, but results. That's the only thing that counts. And we are capable of producing results. I think that it was a key given to us. I was reading the book called Succeeding Against the Odds by John H. Johnson. Good book. He said, for it is the most enduring element of our faith that I must conclude this speech by saying that men and women are limited not by the place of their birth, not by the color of their skin, but by the size of their hope. What is the size of your hope? As we begin to look at what it is we want to produce in our lives, I think another question could be asked, or to paraphrase what he said, what is the size of our commitment to make it happen? See, when you ask people to become a no matter what person, something inside of them begins to tremble because of the fact that we aren't accustomed to saying, I'm going to make this happen. Most people won't do that. Won't take that kind of stand and saying, I'm going to make this happen no matter what. Most people won't do that. That takes energy. That takes conviction. That takes a determination and a mindset. I'm going to do this. And I say that once you make the commitment, and that's what Goethe meant, and that whole piece he says about commitment, he says, once you make a commitment, providence moves too. All kinds of things happen that never would have happened. A whole stream of things happen that you could never anticipate. If you go to the gate and you knock loud enough and long enough, somebody's going to answer.